Good morning. It is Friday, June 11th, 2021, and welcome to the latest edition of Let It Be Known. This morning, we're expecting a visit from actor and entertainer Columbus Short. But first, of course, let us go into the headlines. Dr. Sidney Freeman Jr. has made history as the first African-American male in history to be promoted to the rank of full professor at the University of Idaho. Dr. Freeman is only 36 years old, and he's a direct descendant from slaves, and he was able to earn the full professorship in just 5 years and 7 months on a tenure track, whereas others usually take an average of 10 to 12 years. So congratulations to Dr. Sidney Freeman Jr. Most full professors, by the way, start at the age of 55 on average, while Freeman is, as we stated, only 36 years old. He received his degree in higher education administration from Auburn University in 2011. He immediately got hired at Tuskegee University, where he served as a director in the Teaching and Learning Center for more than 3 years. He then started working at the University of Idaho as an associate professor before recently becoming full professor. In a statement, he said, "If we want to see Idaho grow and be more inclusive, we have to bring that inclusion in. And so it's important for us to not only have conversations about it, but actually invest in diversifying faculty and staff, but also retaining them." So congratulations to Dr. Freeman. We'll continue to follow Dr. Freeman's career as we move forward. Also in the news this morning, music lovers, prepare yourself. It is Black Music Appreciation Month, but prepare yourself for one of the most anticipated comebacks in music history. The legendary Grammy Award winner Stephanie Mills has announced her new single, "Let's Do the Right Thing," an anthem not unlike Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On" of 50 years ago. Her long-awaited new music drops approximately on Saturday, June 19th, which of course is Juneteenth. And she says to the National Newspaper Publishers Association, "It's all me. I am not doing this through a traditional record label." Parts of Stephanie Mills' special interview with the Black press, including the debut of her new single, can be seen on Friday, June 18th at 7:30 a.m. here on this program. And then the full program, the full interview, I should say, will be shown later that day on the Black Press's Fire broadcast. Both live streams air here at Facebook, Black Press USA Videos, YouTube.com, Black Press USA TV, and of course on Twitter at Black Press USA. Stephanie Mills' team said the new music brings fans back to her traditional soulful sound, infused with an empowering message that challenges the listener to take an introspective look at oneself to create love and peace. She said she has examined the situations that's been going on with George Floyd and Tamir Rice and all of the victims of police brutality, African-American victims of police brutality, and that gave her the impetus of the new single, "Let's Do the Right Thing." So we're looking forward to hearing so much from Stephanie Mills. And again, tune in. We have 2 very special episodes with Stephanie Mills on Friday, June 18th, right here on Let It Be Known. And then later on in the afternoon, we will have a special Fire broadcast with the entire interview with Stephanie Mills. But right now, let's bring on our president and CEO, Dr. Ben Chavis. Good morning, Dr. Chavis.
Good morning, Stacy. On behalf of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, Karen Carter Richards, our chair, Janice Ware, our first vice chair, Fran Farrell, our second vice chair, Brenda Andrews, our national treasurer, and Jackie Hampton, our national secretary, and the whole board of directors and all 230 African-American owned newspapers and media companies. We're glad that this is Friday. Welcome again to Let It Be Known.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Chavis, your timing, of course, is really good here because we want to talk about the National Newspaper Publishers Association's annual convention, which is coming right up. June 23rd to June 26th. Everyone can register for free. virtualnmpa2021.com is where you can register free of charge. Dr. Chavis, what can our viewers expect?
Well, I got good news for our viewers. First, you remember the 17-year-old courageous sister on the street of Minneapolis that took that videotape of George Floyd being murdered last year by Derek Chauvin. Her name is Darnella Frazier. And I've heard from the family, I've heard from our representatives. They have agreed to accept the NNPA's highest journalism award. Is going to 17-year-old Darnella Frazier. And we also are giving her a major academic scholarship, financial scholarship, because we want to award her for her courage, for her stick-to-itiveness, her perseverance, even in the face, as you know, even while she was taking the video, one cop put his hand on his pistol and tried to intimidate her. She kept that camera right on there. And we would not know what we know now about the long suffering, death, murder of George Floyd if it hadn't been for Sister Darnella's courage. So at our national convention, we're going to give one of our highest awards, the NNPA, to 17-year-old, well, she's 18 now, Darnella Frazier from Minneapolis. And then, of course, we have Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan is going to perform. We're giving Shaka Khan an award. We're giving the Count Basie Orchestra an award. We're going to shout out the Children's Defense Fund for all of their great work that they're doing, and many, many others. We have special greetings to the Black press from Dr. Fauci, from Dr. Walensky, the head of the CDC. The President of the United States is sending special greetings. The Vice President of the United States is sending special greetings. Jim Clyburn sent an excellent statement of the importance of the Black press. So all this is going to be on the 24th and the 25th of June. Our board meeting is on the 23rd of June, and then we'll close out on the morning of the 26th. But the 24th and the 25th are the major days of the NNPA National Convention, virtual convention. Please come and please join. And the reason why we want you to register, because it's free, we're building a database. We want to stay in touch with you every day. That's the purpose of the registration, so we can keep you informed on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, from the Black press of America. Not only covering America, but we cover all of the diaspora. Throughout, wherever African people are in the world, you can bet the Black press will be there.
You know, it's no sense in me asking the next question, and that is, Dr. Chavis, are you excited about the convention?
You can tell I'm excited. Yes, absolutely. We had over 100,000 viewers last year at our first virtual convention, and we want to top that at our second virtual convention this year. Because of COVID, we found out how to do things electronically, virtually, digitally, remotely, at a distance, but we're still strong. And I'm so proud of our publishers who continue to print our newspapers, who continue to update their websites on a daily basis. We have a stronger digital network now, and shout out to Google. Google is also making a presentation about over 20 of our papers have been involved with the Google News Initiative, and we are helping us to be able to get programmatic digital ads as well as print ads. So yeah, this is a great step forward for the Black press of America. It's a great step forward for Black America. Of course, this is also Music History Month, Music Appreciation Month, the month of June, and we're going to have some of the best of our talent, culturally speaking and entertainmentally speaking, at our convention. Then the substance of the workshops that will be given by Wells Fargo, by Pfizer, by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's just going to be great. It's going to be well-rounded for the whole family, intergenerational, going forward with the National Newspaper Publishers Association. Yes, I'm excited.
Well, Dr. Chavis, I want to go back to something you said about Darnella Frazier as well. So our audience will know that Columbus Short is not here yet. We're waiting for his appearance this morning. He was supposed to be here, probably delayed, but we'll see if he comes in or not. If not, we will see what we could do for later. But anyway, you mentioned Darnella Frazier in that video. Well, you and I spoke with Benjamin Crump, and Benjamin Crump told us, look, had it not been for that video, there would have been no prosecution of Derek Chauvin, the cop who killed George Floyd. So that is so critical that this, at the time, like you said, 17 years old, she was
Yes.
not intimidated away from taking. She didn't know that it was going to lead to what it ultimately led to. But what she was concerned with was the fact that there was this young black man being pinned to the ground, knee on the neck, for 9.5 minutes almost. That's what she was concerned about. She had and you said she's going to get this journalistic award, the highest journalistic award. Well, she had a journalist mind at 17 years old. So we have to applaud that. We have to acknowledge that. It's an amazing thing that she did. And then Dr. Chavis, as you well know, and our viewers know, she had to testify at that trial. And by her own admission, from a social media post, it was not easy whatsoever. It was one of the toughest things she's ever had to do, to testify at that trial. So we are certainly looking forward to awarding Darnella Frazier this great honor that she will be getting at the convention, which is, again, June 23rd to June 26th. And like you said, Dr. Chavis, plenty of participation from all realms. You know, you mentioned Jim Clyburn, and Jim Clyburn, the great representative out of South Carolina, also writes a column for the Black Press that you can see at blackpressusa.com. Great column, a lot of pickup. You know, we know that he's called the Kingmaker. And so he writes his column, and Dr. Chavis, it is read globally.
That's right. And again, that's what we do. We have a number of columnists for the NMPA at blackpressusa.com. Our portal has really grown. We are the one-stop shop now for Black news. We're the one-stop shop for the avocation of freedom, justice, and equality, not only for African Americans, but all communities of color as we struggle forward. And of course, one of the headlines today, we're finding out that the previous administration, the Trump administration, Stacy, has used all kinds of illegal means to collect intelligence on people. They even were trying to collect intelligence on the Intelligence Committee of the House of Representatives. That just shows you how far things. This is worse than Watergate. You know, you would think that after what happened to President Nixon, people would learn from history rather than repeat history. But the truth of the matter is, we still have lynchings going on. We still have police brutality going on. We still have racial discrimination going on. The matter of systemic racism is a long-standing, deep-seated problem in America. And that's why I believe that the Black press, Stacy, is needed more in 2021 than ever before. And we just so grateful to Rushworm and Cornish in 1827, 194 years ago, when Freedom's Journal was first published in New York City. And so for 194 years, that's what we're celebrating at the convention, Stacy. The longevity, the perseverance, the determination, the persistence of the Black press of America.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, Dr. Chavis, you tie that all in so nicely, going back to Rushworm and Carnage at Freedom's Journal in New York 194 years ago. Got a call just the other day from the legendary Chuck D, a Public Enemy, who really reiterated how important the Black press has always been, and he says remains today. Chuck says, look, I just read you guys. He said, I look at the other ones, but I really study you guys. He said, we're the ones that are fighting the power. We know Public Enemy's great song is, of
That's
course,
a great song. Yes.
Power. And also, Dr. Chavis got also a call from Isaiah Thomas, the basketball great, who also wanted to say the same thing about the National Newspaper Publicists Association and the Black Press of America. So we're going to unveil all of this stuff at the National Convention, June 23rd to June 26th. And want to say good morning to many of our viewers this morning. Annette Phillips says she loves the NNPA. She says, where's her award from loving the NNPA?
All right, the Love Award. Telling that that's a great idea. We need to give out some Love Awards.
Absolutely. And that we appreciate you so much. Of course, Bobby Henry is watching, and our chair, Karen Carter Richards, is watching. Cheryl Smith is our future guest, Dr. Chavis. We're going to have Cheryl Smith on the week of the convention. Right. We're going to have Cheryl Smith on. We're going to have our chair, Karen Carter Richards, on. Clovis Campbell from the Arizona Informant. Omaha Star, Sanders.
Yes.
Stacey Sanders is going to be on that week as well, and
Great.
Bobby Henry, of course, will be on as well. So you're going to hear directly on this program from our publishers the week of the convention. They're going to be here live, and they're going to be able to tell you so much more about not just the conference, but about the Black press and what they have been doing. And Dr. Chavis, as you well know, you work shoulder to shoulder with them. They have done a tremendous job, particularly during the pandemic. And
That's right.
we did something.
We've had some of our best years. You know, Coach Cheryl Smith is the Region 4 president. We have 5 regions in the NNPA, and Cheryl is our distinguished regional president. She's also publishers of 3 to 4 publications in Dallas.
Yes.
Sister's really on it. And then, of course, our chair from Houston, Texas, from the Forward Times. I mean, I saw that. I don't know if you've seen their new logo. Man, it looks great. And I just want to give everybody a sneak peek. That the convention is going to start off with the front pages of 100 of our newspapers.
Isn't that
I mean, oh man, it's dynamic and it's got a great sound beat to it. I just saw some of the preliminary of it. It's going to be breathtaking, you know, because it's dynamic. When we have our physical conventions, we usually have, you know, these large blown up the front pages, and people just stare and gaze in amazement of not only the diversity, the inclusivity, but the substance of the Black press. We're on it. And, you know, a lot of the mainstream press now, Stacy, gets their news from the Black press. We did a study. We said, wow, oh man, 30% of the people that come into our website are actually non-persons of color. They want to find out what Black folks are doing. They want to find out what African Americans are doing. That's why our advertising is growing. Because now a lot of the Fortune 500 companies want to advertise in our newspapers, locally, regionally, and nationally. Because if you want to reach our community through the trusted voice, that's the last thing, you know, I could talk the whole half hour about the Black press. But look, we are the trusted voice of Black America. We're the trusted voice of our communities. And so if you're an advertiser out there, it makes good sense. It's good business to do business with the Black press.
Yeah, and Dr. Chavis, again, just to go back a moment, we talked a little bit about our discussion, you and my discussion with Attorney Ben Crump. Let's take a look at some of that discussion right now.
Yes.
And Attorney Crump, it's been quite the past year. We had a pandemic, but we had the continuing pandemic of African Americans losing their lives at the hands of law enforcement. And thanks to you and your work, this is not going unpunished. There's a sentencing coming up. Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis officer who killed George Floyd, his sentencing is coming up. What are you looking for going forward? What are you looking for in this sentence, Attorney Crump? And if you will, summarize this past year for us.
Certainly. So we have to remember that George Floyd's family will get something that very few Black families get in the aftermath of a police excessive use of deadly force on one of their loved ones. They got civil justice with the record-setting $27 million settlement from the city of Minneapolis, which was the largest amount Dr. Chavis ever paid out in a pre-suit civil rights police killing of a person in America, not just a Black person, but anybody. And so that was significant. There were a lot of policy reforms also as part of that settlement. But then they also got a criminal conviction of guilty on Derek Chauvin for torturing George Floyd to death with his knee on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. And so hopefully it will present a new precedent for Black people in America, a new precedent for our quest to achieve with liberty and justice for all, meaning all of us, not just white people, but Black people, brown people, red people, all of us, to make it not just be rhetoric. So that's what we pray is going to happen because of George Floyd tragically being killed in Minneapolis on May 25th, 2020.
Wow, and so you're gonna, our viewers gonna hear more of that conversation coming up. Dr. Chavis, Attorney Crump, you and him go back a ways, but
we go way back. We're both from North Carolina. And of course, Bobby Henry reminds me, he lives in Florida. So Bobby, yes, he lives in Florida, but he's from North Carolina. In fact, Mr. Henry's roots in North Carolina also, if the truth will be told. So, listen, I think that Attorney Benjamin Crump, and, I remember when he first started becoming a civil rights attorney, a lot of people criticized him. A lot of people thought he was just showing up for publicity. But this man has put his own life, his own legal career on the line so many times. I mean, repeatedly. It's not easy to do what Attorney Benjamin Crump does. First of all, the compassion and the empathy and the care and the concern, and then apply his legal expertise. I think Benjamin Crump is going to go down one of the most foremost civil rights attorneys, civil rights litigators, but I also have to call him freedom fighter. He's a real freedom fighter for all people who are the victims of racial injustice. As you know, in the interview that we did with him yesterday, and we're going to show it hopefully in its entirety at our national convention, but he really dropped some jewels also, Stacy, you remember, about the importance of the Black press. That's going to be fascinating to
he also
at our convention.
And he also, during the convention, Derek Chauvin will be sentenced
on the 25th of May.
And he also said he will call in to the convention with his family live to discuss the sentencing of Derek Chauvin. So it's another reason to tune in to our national convention, June 23rd to June 25th. You're going to hear, like Dr. Chavis said, that interview in its entirety, but you're also going to get Attorney Crump and the Floyd family live.
Exactly. And again, Attorney Trump explained, Benjamin Crump explained that the reason why he's giving it to the Black press and not to the mainstream press, right from the sentencing of Derek Chauvin, is because of the important role that the Black press has played in all these cases, from Trayvon Martin to Mike Brown to many others all over the country who have been the victims. Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor. The list is so long. Tamir Rice, Eric Garner. We're still on the case. And, even all this time, Stacy, we still haven't gotten justice for Eric Garner. And his mother's still out there on the front line, challenging and battling police brutality. And I don't want people to lose sight that we still need to support the family of Eric Garner as they still demand for justice. This brother was choked to death on the streets of Staten Island solely because allegedly he was selling loose cigarettes. I mean, come on. I mean, our people have just been taken out, for no reason by these racially motivated police. So and I've been giving thought to this, Stacy. I don't think we can reform lynching. I think you have to end it. I don't think you can reform racism. You have to end it. And that is the role of the Black press. We call it out, but we call it out not just to be repetitive in the call out. It's toward the end of ending racism, ending all of the subsidiary consequences of chattel slavery. And the most inhumane form of genocide has ever been imposed on human beings is the transatlantic slave trade. Of course, Stacey, I'm giving a plug for this book that you and I have been writing for the last several years. We got to get it out this year because I want the Black press to be the forefront, going back to Rush, Rum, and Cornish. In pleading our own cause, we have to be in control of our own narrative. We can't allow others to tell our story. Because if you allow others to tell our stories will get misinterpreted, misapplied, and get lost in history. And that is why we still have a struggle today for freedom, justice, and equality because of the comprehensive, not only archiving of facts and truth about Black Americans, about people of African descent, but we push the envelope so that we can have public policy changes. And that's what Jim Clyburn is also going to talk about to the Black press.
Yeah, I want to say good morning to Michelle Madison, David Youngblood. Thanks for always watching. Claudette Perry, our executive administrator, Dr. Chavis, she mentioned again with the conference, Google, because you mentioned Google was so impressed by last year's newspaper exhibit that they asked to be a sponsor of this year's exhibit. So people really enjoyed. In fact, we heard from other organizations, news organizations included, that our convention, which was the first time we've ever had to do it virtually, really was the gold standard for other conferences. We had a lot of not just pre-recorded information, but we had a lot of live information going on too. We had a lot of special guests. It was a really informative convention, Dr. Chavis. And one more side note on Attorney Benjamin Crump. He doesn't just chase the cases. He doesn't chase the big name cases for publicity, as you stated. A personal experience, Ben Crump heard me talking to someone. We were at a hotel. He overheard the conversation, Dr. Chavis. My young daughter was swimming in the pool of this hotel, and there was glass at the bottom of the pool. She cut her leg, and the hotel sent over some cookies and as an apology. And Ben Crump heard me telling someone this, and he says, no, let me go talk to them. They paid her a hospital bill, and they really took care of her during that entire stay and offered her future free stays, offered us future free stays, and among other things. So it's not just the cases that's going to get him publicity. So Attorney Crump is very genuine in his stand for justice.
Absolutely. Attorney Benjamin Crump, par excellence.
Yeah, absolutely. And another Benjamin that we know as par excellence is Chavis. So
when I was growing up, I said I want to be like Benjamin Crump.
Is that right?
Well, I'm a little older than he is, but we mentor each other. I come from a long line of Benjamins. I succeeded Benjamin Hook as the executive director and CEO of the NAACP. And then after me became Ben Jealous. Yes. So, it's not about the Benjamins. It's about what we do with our names. It's what we do with our surnames and our former names. But we have a legacy to represent, to pass on to each generation. Yeah, our freedom fighting spirit, our freedom fighting courage, each generation has to be stronger, stronger, stronger. When I see Simone Biles, do what she's doing now gymnastically, Stacy. It just reminds us of the resilience and that our people, we not only strive toward perfection, but in continuing to strive toward perfection, we excel in all art forms. We excel in all academic forms. We excel in all scientific forms. And of course, that's the genius of the Black press of America.
Yeah, and two quick notes. Number one, Dr. Chavis, you being such an influence on many of the hip hop people, it is all about the Benjamins. So,
oh yeah, I know that's what we say in hip hop. Absolutely.
And Dr. Chavis and Simone Biles, by the way, we are in touch with representatives of Simone Biles. They assure me that she is trying to carve out some time for our convention as well. So hopefully we'll hear from Simone Biles at our convention. And one last note from Cheryl Smith. She says it is so unfortunate that people don't realize the Ben Crumps, Reverend Jacksons, and Sharptons, and yes, Dr. Chavis, in fighting and shining the light on injustices, have to fight critics who'd rather criticize them than attack racism. We salute them and others who spend their time for the benefit of others. That from Cheryl Smith, iMessenger Media, Texas Metro News. Thanks always for watching, Cheryl. Thanks, Bobby Henry. Bobby Henry is such a soldier, Dr. Chavis.
Oh, yeah. And Bob is the chair of our nominating committee of the NMPA. And of course, we have an election coming up. And we have a record number of publishers that paid their dues. The secretary worked on the certification list yesterday. We have a great convention, a great election on the 25th of June. And I'm looking forward. And I'm praying, and I'll say this publicly, I'm praying that there will be continuity in the effective leadership of the NNPA. We've made so much progress over the last 2 years, and we want to continue that progress into the future.
Yeah, just make sure Bobby Henry is not elected to any big time position. We might be in trouble.
Oh no, he's good. He's a good man. He's a good man. He's
Bobby's
a good
great.
man.
Bobby
Yeah.
knows I'm teasing.
The West Side Gazette is one of our major newspapers, not just in Florida, but all over the country. And the thing I like about Bobby Henry is the Henry family. It's a family-run newspaper. And a lot of our newspapers are family-owned and family-run. And that gives us deep rootage in our community, and also respect, because at the end of the day, it's not just what we do as individuals, but it's what we do collectively as families, as communities, as businesses, as a people.
Yeah, and for those who tuned in, expecting to see Columbus Short, we are on the case trying to find out what happened. Hopefully we'll have him at a later date. Let it be known, in the words of Shakespeare, if music be the food of love, play on. Have a great weekend. Watch the Chavis Chronicles on Sunday and every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, or check your local listings at PBS TV and PBS World. Everybody stay safe and stay well.